I got a question for you,
Yeah,
Mr.
lay it on me.
Adam Carroll.
Lay it on me.
The question that I get actually a lot is that do student loans charge interest while you're in school as a student?
So the answer is yes, it depends.
Okay.
Yes, it depends. So there are two kinds of student loans. There are subsidized student loans. Subsidized student loans do not charge interest while you're in school.
Okay.
The interest begins accruing once you've graduated.
Once you've graduated.
And the idea being that the government is subsidizing your loans so that the interest is not accruing until after graduation.
Got it.
The other, quite logically, is unsubsidized student loans. Unsubsidized student loans do begin charging interest, and in fact, they start charging interest the day that the loans are distributed. Right? So as soon as the check is cut, the interest begins that day.
Gotcha. And that's important because if people didn't know that, they would think that maybe they had more time or days that were not accruing interest when they actually are accruing interest.
Yes, and the biggest, I think the biggest eye-opening thing that happens for most students who don't know that their unsubsidized loans are accruing interest is they get to graduation and they'll say, I didn't borrow that much money. Right?
Okay.
And in reality, if someone borrows $10,000 a year for 4 years, they logically believe, oh, I borrowed $40,000.
Right.
When in reality, it will probably be closer to $50,000,
Yep.
$40,000 at 5% over 4 years, or as it builds on itself year over year.
Yeah.
So to do the math quickly, Nick, if you were to look at a $10,000 unsubsidized student loan at 5% interest rate,
Okay.
at the end of a 4-year period of time, you would actually owe on that first $10,000 loan over $12,100. So it would have accrued $2,100 in interest.
Got it.
In 4 years' time.
So that's how you said if you think 10,000, 40, it's not 40,000, it's actually the 50.
Yes.
That's why. It's because of the interest that's accruing.
That's exactly
on
right.
Unsubsidized loan.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Now, do people have say in whether they get unsubsidized or subsidized loans?
They really don't. A lot of that's going to be determined by the FAFSA,
Okay.
the free application for federal student aid, which you can find another Mastery of Money video all about the FAFSA. That is what is going to determine, essentially, your need is what determines whether it is subsidized or unsubsidized.
Got it. Okay. Well, I need subsidized.
We all need subsidized. Yes.
Okay.
Now, this is why choosing a loan provider is so important because, some students may not pay any attention to what the interest rate is on that loan. They just go to whomever can give them the loan the fastest or the easiest.
Right.
And in reality, what happens is some providers may offer a student loan at 3.9% while someone else is offering it at 7%. And that small, seemingly insignificant change in percentage rate can mean a significant difference over time in the amount of interest that's paid back once you get to that payback period.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that I also want to touch on, in addition to, our student loans charging interest while you're in school is the conversation of deferment and a grace period.
Yes.
Right. So you said that subsidized loans are subsidized, but once you graduate, then it starts accruing interest.
Right.
Now, I know at least for myself, I waited because I knew I had a 6-month grace period.
Right.
So for other people who are about to enter the grace period or are in the grace period, are they being charged interest?
They are.
They are. Okay.
Yes. On those unsubsidized loans, they will be charged interest, even in the grace period.
Okay.
So the grace period or a deferment period, so once you graduate, you have 6 months before you have to start making payments, the interest is accruing. And that's really critical to know. If you are interested in reducing the amount of the cost that's associated with those loans, you can do a couple things. Number one, with unsubsidized loans, you can be making loan payments or interest payments through your college career. Now, this comes in handy once you graduate because that interest will have not have compounded upon itself throughout your college career. And even in that deferment period, you could be making those interest payments before you start making a full-blown student loan payment.
Yep.
All of those things would help save you money over the course of time.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Last thing that we want to talk about in terms of saving money is that for 2019, the max deduction that you can take for student loan interest is $2,500. So to put it into perspective, if you graduate with $40,000 in student loan debt, and let's just say it's a 6% interest rate for the student loans, that would be $2,400 a year in student loan interest payment that you would be able to deduct completely, and then technically still have $100 left. Like you would still have, even if it were $2,500, you could deduct 100% of it.
Yeah.
So it's good to know what the number is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So an answer again, very simply, do student loans charge interest while you're in school? The answer is yes, but it depends on what kind of loan you have, whether it's subsidized or unsubsidized. Make sure you check in with your student loan provider to know which is which. And if you're in school and curious about this, it's always best to stay informed and not stick your head in the sand and just figure, oh well, we'll figure it out in 4 or 5 years. Best to know exactly what you owe and how much interest is being charged at any given point in time. Good luck in the process of paying for school, of graduating, and good luck in your future career searches. Stay tuned.
Be interested in interest.
Such a nerd. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.